Alright guys, we're about to hit the road. Well, about to go hop in a fucking Mazda. We're in the Volvo right now. We have all our power systems here. You can see it's all the way down to 12.9 volts. Yeah. We're about to go pick up a Mazda, and we're about to test drive a Mazda for a couple of days. Alright guys, we are in the new CX-30. I think it's a 2024. It has all-wheel drive, and it's a Skyactiv turbo. And, you know, I'm looking in here to, like, connect my phone and whatnot. Well, the thing is, there's two USB-C ports here, and I look more closely with my flashlight. There's no 12-volt adapter. There's literally nothing for me to plug into. Like I don't even have anything I can plug my USB cable into. So I'm gonna have to see if I can find a USB-C to 12-volt adapter, and I need it now. So I guess I'm gonna go searching for one, and I guess I'm gonna look for more than likely I'll be able to find a 12-volt to USB-A, and then I guess I can get a USB-A to USB-C adapter. But I mean, as it stands, like, I have no way to even connect to this car. Like, I can't even plug anything in. Like, you can't even plug in any kind of 12-volt accessory. It's crazy. Radar cruise control message went away, but yeah, I'm gonna have to get like another USB-C to adapter or whatnot. Although Android Auto is working, and it's trying to charge my phone. I guess there's like a weight sensor, not unless it detects NFC or something. I'm not sure what that process is, but my phone does not accept wireless charge. It does not have that feature. All points to plug in USB, so that's not going to work. I'm going to have to find another way to charge my phone. But I guess if you can get past that, I mean, I guess if your phone has wireless charging, then this works okay. And, you know, it just boggles my mind. Like, and I guess if you're the kind of person that would call a tow truck for your tire being low on air instead of just hooking up an air compressor. I mean, I guess you can still use a bicycle pump, but yeah, in one of these cars, you're definitely not hooking up an air compressor unless you get different adapters. But I guess here we are in 2025. I mean, I guess that's what you have to do now. Well, that was a no at CarQuest, so the adventure continues. We will go elsewhere. Alright guys, we have success here at the Advanced Auto Parts. We have a we have a 12-volt to USB adapter, or USB-A to 12-volt adapter, I should say. So, like $15 for this shit. But they do have these at Advanced Auto Parts. So that's part one of the conversion here. So I can at least plug in the 12-volt adapter. But oh wait, the only thing we have in here is USB-C. So I guess we're gonna head to Best Buy real quick and see if we can't find an adapter from USB-C to USB-A. I know I got one at home. Well guys, Best Buy's closed. We're gonna head by the Walmart and hope they have a USB-C to USB-A adapter. And yeah, I don't know what that icon is. I'm gonna have to look that one up. But everything else is clear on here. We got a nice all-wheel drive system. We got a turbo system here, and quite frankly, we're in the rain, and this thing gets up and goes pretty nicely. It has pretty good grip. The pad system is pretty amazing on these cars, and yeah, once again, the Android Auto is connected via Wi-Fi. Uses the Wi-Fi on my phone, and it seems to connect pretty seamlessly, but I haven't really gotten on the road yet. So, light behind a Subaru, and quite frankly, we have no problem keeping up with a Subaru. In fact, we're a lot quicker than the Subaru. But these are the road conditions. Alright guys, we had to go to the Walmart, and we have this from the Advanced Auto Parts, and this from Walmart. So, see if this works. Whatever's happening here, it just keeps cycling power. Even my phone here, I go over to my phone, and I'm going to see if you can see it. Alright, there we go. So it'll start charging, and it'll disconnect, it'll start charging, it'll disconnect. I don't get any kind of continuous power off of it. Yeah, so what we got here, we got a lot of heat right here. This USB is getting really hot where it connects to this converter. Definitely can't have anything else plugged into this. We'll see if this works, but we're definitely going to have to get another converter to be able to plug anything else in over here. So right now I can't plug my phone in. Well guys, we're back. Turning off that electronic e-brake, and finally we have the phone connected, we have a cable, and the phone is charging, and we got the radar detector working. So, you know, all it took was buying a USB-C to C cable, buying a USB-C to female USB-A adapter, buying from Advanced Auto Parts, the more rare one, the male USB-A to, the male USB-A to female 12 volt adapter, so that we can plug in our 12 volt adapter device. That being said, there's so much heat due to the transfer that you can't plug anything else into that device. So this gets pretty hot, but it's okay as long as you don't plug anything else into it. So USB-C can handle one thing, but yeah, took 1, 2, 3 things from various stores in order to get the phone plugged in. But now the phone's plugged in, and we can actually be on our way. I guess wireless charging's nice if you have it, but I don't. Mine's all USB. It's quicker over USB. Like, I don't really get it, but whatever. But I just popped up this thing that says wireless charging unavailable. The backup camera is pretty nice, and you also have that peripheral view that's pretty seamless to give you an idea of where the lines are on the road and whatnot. So it is a pretty nice view, I will say that. I don't know if you can hear the boost from here. I'm going to turn down the AC unit a bit since the rain has died off. See if you guys can hear the boost. It's actually pretty nice. It was pretty nice. The CX-30 is not really my top pick here, but it's actually surprisingly nice when you add all-wheel drive and boost to it. On wet road conditions, it's pretty impressive. Alright guys, we're actually on the road moving now. That was a pretty lengthy setback, but we actually have everything connected, all our electronic stuff that we can normally just plug into most cars. That's all working now. I guess in the 2024 CX-30 they decided to do away with the 12 volt adapter. I guess these cars are catered to specific kinds of people or whatnot. It is what it is. I mean, I had to run around to a few different stores, grab some different parts, but I am now connected to the car, and it's got this little red mark here to show you what the speed limit is. The heads-up display also shows the speed limit, if you can see that. we have the Android Auto working, and we'll see more once we actually start moving, but we are on the way now. Well guys, we are on the road here. I guess you can kind of see the heads-up display, just barely on this GoPro, but very smooth drive. A long time before we were able to actually make it on the road or whatnot, but we have everything plugged in, everything's functional. Phone's actually like charging and whatnot. There is a sports setting here. I don't think there's really much of a point. These things will like drive themselves to a degree, so if I like go over to the white line here, it'll like move the steering wheel a bit to move it off the white line. So that's pretty interesting. I'd say it's good in some cases, but if you're going to pass an 18-wheeler and you know I have a ton of space between me and the next car in front of me, it'll start. It'll want to auto brake as I'm coming up on that car, even though I still have, you know, like 8-10 car lengths, something like that. And if I'm passing an 18-wheeler and I get over, let's just assume it's the other lane, and you know I'm trying to just stay to this side of the lane, what it'll do, it'll actually steer me that way into the 18-wheeler. So you have your pros and your cons with these features, but heated seat is really nice. I found some weird stuff with the climate control. I have it on recirculate at around 66, 68 degrees. It'll like fog up the windshield here, and best thing, it depends on the temperature that you have it at, which is the weird part, but the other thing that works is just putting it on feet and defrost, and that works all of the time. So yeah, other than that, looking pretty good. There's definitely nobody out here. It's like one of those like high-speed roads or whatnot. We never have people. Say there's police right now, but I don't see any police at the moment. I do know they have a Corvette, so definitely. I don't know if you want to do any top speed runs out here anymore with them having a C8 Corvette, but yeah, this thing's actually really smooth, really quiet. I can hear like a tiny amount of noise from the all-wheel drive system if you get it up fast enough. Other than that, I really don't hear any noise. It's pretty quiet on the inside. No squeaks and rattles. I haven't really been like high speed on turns and whatnot yet, so I know this has a higher center of gravity than something like a Mazda 3, so we'll see how the body roll is, but so far I'm pretty impressed with the all-wheel drive system, and it seems to be working pretty well. I mean, this guy's headed to Florida too, and but yeah, pretty nice interior. The way this thing's set up, you definitely do have to buy some cords and whatnot to be able to get your stuff connected. As far as the infotainment display, it works pretty well. I have found that if I try to do like another app or something, so if I hit a button here or go to another app on here, it'll want to split the screen, and of course I can go back, but the best way to so like if I hit the home button or something, that'll split the screen. And if you want to go back to the Mazda stuff, like if you want like radio control or something, then you have to hit the Mazda app, and that's using the command switch here. So hit the Mazda app and you're back here, hit up on the command switch and it'll take you back to Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, or whatever. So yeah, once you get that functionality nailed down, it works pretty well as far as the infotainment display goes. You just have to keep in mind the selector and those icons on the left side of the screen, like right there. If you pay attention to that, then it's pretty easy. As far as getting in and out of the car, you know, the key fob like just works. You walk away, the car locks. You walk up to the car, it unlocks. Like, you can pull on the door handle and the car will unlock itself. So there's a lot of convenient features. The lift gate opens. Pretty nice interior. Like I said, it's squeak and rattle free. These are beige interior seats. See, it's already starting to slow down the radar cruise control or whatnot. All this computer stuff kind of like steps in and starts trying to drive the car for you, but yeah, it's like one of those things you got to get used to, you know. But you know, very nice interior. Everything's like LED here. The gauges are nice. The heated seat feels phenomenal. The climate control works. It has its quirks. I would assume that on recirculate you would never get any kind of moisture in the car, but at a certain temperature range you do. So once again, there's a way around that. You can just change the settings. So there are quirks. I mean, obviously this is geared with certain people in mind. There are other models that definitely have 12-volt adapters and multiple 12-volt adapters and regular USB ports, but this one does not. So looks like they got rid of the 12-volt adapter in the 2024 CX-30. But as far as drivability, this thing's actually pretty quick. We're on wet roads right now. We have light rain. We've had a squall or two of rain come in, but right now it's just light, but the roads are nice and wet. And this all-wheel drive system and traction control system handles phenomenally. And I'm pretty sure that you can literally just hold the gas pedal down and the computer will automatically figure out like where to vector the power to all of the wheels. And see, in the rain, this happens every now and then, where it'll say the radar's obscured and, you know, a couple of warning lights will come on, but after about 5 minutes or so that'll go away. But that does happen in the rain from time to time. But overall it works fairly well. Absolutely can spin the wheels on wet roads, but the computer already knows like how much throttle to give it and whatnot, and even if I keep the throttle pegged, it will not apply throttle. It'll only go off of the computer map. So it's pretty hard to get yourself in trouble with one of these with all of the traction control and programming and whatnot. We'll see what the fuel mileage is. This is the turbocharged model. I'm going down a hill right now, but it says 35 miles per gallon instantaneously. I guess we'll find out after I fill it up. I'm just driving on the highway and whatnot. But yeah, it's a pretty nice interior. I think you could even hit these like cameras and whatnot. There's like buttons. There's more buttons and switches over on the left side over here. You can turn more things on and off. Like I can turn off the radar cruise control, and I can turn off the lane assist and stuff like that. But if I hit the camera, oh yeah, you can watch the camera as you're driving. That's actually pretty cool. That's interesting. And you can actually change the camera mode too. That's cool. That's pretty fascinating. Huh. But yeah, other than that, I would say it's a mostly minimalist interior, but everything's lit up really nicely at night. I mean, it just works, and like it's absolutely a comfortable interior. Alright guys, well that would be the Big Dumb Beaver. We have made it to a Buc-ee's. This is the first Buc-ee's on the way. That's right, headed to Buc-ee's.
At the next stop sign, turn right. At the stop sign, turn right onto...
We have gas receipt number 1. And it's only like 20 bucks. I just put regular in there, and yeah, we filled the tank on the CX-30. We only had a quarter tank left, and we just filled the whole tank for 20 bucks. 7.6 gallons. Must not be the biggest tank, but I mean, it gets good range. And one of the cool things about these Mazdas is that you can just put regular in. It's a turbocharged motor, but because of how SkyActiv works and how precise they are with the sensors and the coil packs, they can detect knock before it happens and adjust the timing in real time, like really quickly. And you can just put whatever you want in here, and you don't have to worry about any kind of knock or detonation or anything. They just work. But yeah, turbocharged vehicle. This thing scoots and fill the tank for 20 bucks. Crazy. So the latest thing in my beautiful saga of warning lights, I just got a TPMS malfunction, and it did just go away, but I got a flashing TPMS light, and I felt nothing going on with the tire. It should only be flashing if the tire's like completely gone down, you know, there's no vehicle has no pull or anything, and I'm like, what's going on here? So if you go to infotainment, vehicle status monitor, maintenance details, you can see that when it scanned, it was not able to determine the pressure of the passenger front. Why? I don't know. I guess there was interference. I'm just going down the road with the cruise control on. After maybe a mile or two, it went away. I guess I could read it, just hasn't updated on the display yet. But yeah, so it could be signal interference. So my flipper device, I can actually put off that same frequency and basically cause a TPMS light to pop up on numerous vehicles, if you wanted to. But yeah, that was the latest warning light, and it popped up on the instrument cluster here, and it was accompanied by a flashing tire light. So for some reason, I lost signal to the passenger front, whether that's coming from interference in the car or one of the surrounding cars. I mean, I have no idea, but for some reason, it was just unable to read the passenger front randomly while driving down the road, and that caused warning lights to pop on. So that's the latest in the saga of warning lights and whatnot. As far as the Buc-ee's went, it was pretty easy to get in and out of the Buc-ee's. It was a pretty fast and efficient place to go to. There were a lot of people there. I mean, it was very busy. And I think the last time I was at a Buc-ee's was probably a year or two ago. It might have been 2 years ago. And I don't know. My perspective changes over time. You know, everybody's perspective changes over time. And you revisit the same things in life, but from a different angle, a different perspective. And as you learn in life, you know, you kind of have that mental scaffolding that you're constantly building. And depending on what you see and what you learn, you build that scaffolding in a different direction, and that allows you another perspective to see things from. But suffice it to say, me visiting Buc-ee's today versus 2 years ago is pretty different from my perspective. Yeah, I'm not really one to buy into all of the consumerism stuff. And, you know, I do like meat, and they got some good brisket there and whatnot, but a lot of it's just fried foods, just pure sugar, like all kinds of gimmicks and advertisements. And don't get me wrong, some of it is cool, but I just can't do it. I couldn't even go for the brisket this time. I just didn't want anything fried. I just got me some frickin' pistachio nuts or whatnot, some water, and I'm good to go. A lot of that stuff there, I just have tons of like cookie dough, and it's basically like a carnival. It's like a carnival meets a Walmart meets a gas station. The funny thing is there's a lot of electric receptacles there as well. So, pretty fascinating. So when I go back to Buc-ee's, absolutely quick and efficient gas. You're in and out pretty quickly. The restrooms, you're in and out pretty quickly. It works pretty damn well. That's an interesting Honda Pilot. I guess he's got Navy stuff on it. It's got like the blue Pilot logo and whatnot. It's pretty interesting. Never seen one like that before. Even the elite models. So must have found some autos in an aisle type stuff, or some ways to change the lettering. Oh, there it goes. Every now and then that'll pop up. Wireless charging not available. So it's like, oh, well, I guess it detects my phone does not work with the wireless charger. I don't know, whatever. But yeah, going back to, Buc-ee's, like, right now and like 2 years ago, like, a lot of my preferences have changed. And, I've started practicing like fasting and stuff like that. One thing that I've noticed that while fasting, it gets rid of a lot of the shit in the body, like a lot of the shit food we consume. For the most part, a lot of the food we consume doesn't really do much for us. But fasting in and of itself allows the body to get rid of some of that shit. But also, if you're not consuming the shit, you really start noticing like how stuff tastes, how stuff smells more. Because if you break the habit, if you don't just go in there going off of the habit of, consumer, this smell good, grab this, or, I've had this before, I'm gonna grab this because I've had it before. So if you break that consciously and then you go back, like the same stuff I would have gone for before, it just doesn't even smell good to me anymore. Like I'm more perceptive of it. I think partially due to fasting, but like I smell like the sugar and whatnot, and I'm just like, I can't. Like I just can't. Like normally, like I used to not notice. I used to be numb to a lot of this stuff, but now if I like do some fasting and like I go and consume something, if it has some extra salt in it, I'm like, oh my gosh, like it's like super highlighted. I guess that's how you could define it. So pretty interesting, but that's my experience versus when I last went to Buc-ee's. But apparently they pay pretty well. I mean, it looks like they got more business than the Walmart, so it's pretty fascinating nonetheless. Here we go again. Got the TPMS malfunction. TPMS TPMS malfunction, have the vehicle inspected. Literally just driving down the road, man. Got a flashing horseshoe over here. And then just as suddenly as it popped up, it went away. So, I don't fucking know, man. I have no idea. That's crazy. Maybe it's my radar detector, but as far as I know, the Mazda's blind spot monitoring operates on the radar detector K-band. As far as I know, the TPMS frequency should be way different. It's like a way lower frequency. It's like 400 megahertz, not... Whoa, guys, as we travel back into North Carolina, the temperatures dropped quite a bit. We're down to 42 degrees right here. So yeah, the CX-30 has been great. I'll have to look. I think this is a 2025 CX-30. These command switches, they've become pretty intuitive after a while. And yeah, it's been a pretty smooth trip back. I think I haven't checked the specs, but I think the gas tank is approximately 10 or 11 gallons. I've gotten it down to basically 10 gallons. It said there is a range of 15 miles left. I'll have to double check to see if there's any kind of reserve capacity or whatnot, but yeah, it's after the fuel light and whatnot. So as far as I can tell, it's a 10 gallon tank, but it could be 11. That's as far as I pushed it. I wouldn't want to push any farther, but slow down a little bit and use the cruise control behind like a truck or something, and this thing gets pretty good fuel economy. Like right now, like you can see what it's getting right now behind this truck, going like 64 or whatnot. Truck's going 64, so the Mazda radar cruise control is just automatically matching the truck. So it's pretty interesting checking out the Mazda radar cruise control. It works pretty well. Now, obviously, it's a dead technological system, so it can't think for itself. So it's kind of clunky in the way it works. Kind of like a square wave, like a 8-bit video game system or 8-bit music or whatnot. Or if you look at like calculus or something, you're doing like a graph. The precision, the approximation isn't as good, kind of like, you're trying to measure the area under the curve and you're using an approximate method. That's kind of how the cruise control works. I mean, it does have logic built into it. It does follow order of operations, but it can't perceive what the traffic around you is doing. And from the human perspective, I would say that it's many steps behind, my driving style. And I have my driving style that's with respect to logic and the controls that I have put into my driving style that I've developed over the years. So as I drive, I still have those controls built in, but I also react. So I am reactive to what happens around me. I'm aware of what happens around me, and based upon my inputs, I'm able to make a more apt decision than a dead system of technology that can only possibly perceive 1 to 2 steps ahead. So there are benefits. If there's not much traffic on the road, it's pretty nice. There are definitely situations where it is very nice. But for a lot of traffic, I really don't like it personally. But, to each their own. People that don't drive much, I could definitely see where it would help them. But yeah, that's Mazda radar cruise control. So coming back, you can see here no lights, nothing like that. Well, the whole way back, on the way down there, I had the tire light come on multiple times for the passenger front, and like my radar detector, stuff like that, 24 gigahertz. Well, the TPMS system, it's like 300 or 400 megahertz, so that couldn't be causing interference as far as I know. Well, anyway, on the way back up to North Carolina, the whole way, no warning messages. Now, granted, there's no rain, there's no water on the road, but I have had absolutely 0 warning messages. So, no problem with the tire pressure monitor system. Yeah, it's pretty comfortable in here. We've got the heated seat going. We're at operating temperature. It's a small tank, but we have pretty good fuel range with the tank. I mean, I think the tank's smaller than my Miata tank, but I also get like 50% more range. So, I mean, nothing to complain about. Now, one of the limitations I found about the infotainment system, so the way the infotainment system works, so you plug in your phone or what, no, actually, I'm using Android Auto, and it's using wireless. Now, my phone is plugged into my laptop. I put my laptop in suspend mode, and that way it's in a low power state, but I'm using the laptop batteries to keep my phone charged, and you can see the charge right here. And now, I don't know what this is. If you guys could tell me what this is, it's some side of the road weird thing with sculptures and whatnot. Anyway, I don't know any way to get the infotainment display while you're running Android Auto to also play back YouTube videos.
In half a mile, keep right to continue on US 74 East, US 76 East.
Or audio from your phone in the background. Now, if anybody knows of a way, please tell me, but I don't know of any way to do that. So, the way around it that I have found, like I said, I got those adapters.
Keep right to continue on US 74 East.
So, I got these adapters down here, and what I have, I like that little Amazon Basics USB-C / USB-A right here. So I'm just used to, in my older car, I can run YouTube videos in the background and still have Google Maps open and routing me wherever I want or whatnot, and it can handle multiple audio input and output sources at the same time. I can pipe my GMRS radio Bluetooth over it. I can output to another device and have it broadcast over the car audio. So there's that. But there's many different ways in order to do it. And that's the solution. Yeah, like I said, I've heard of people using like a CarTube app or whatnot to get around this limitation of only being able to use one audio input source at a time, or more accurately, while you're running Android Auto, you can't select your phone as a Bluetooth audio source. So, I mean, obviously there's different ways around it. I think I heard people saying that you can use CarTube, as like an Android Auto compatible app. The other way, or the way that I have tried that has seemed to work for me, is using my Amazon Basics USB stick, which is also USB Type-C, and it's currently formatted as the FAT32 file system. That's one thing about my phone. I'm running an older operating system on. I need to update it. So the Linux kernel integrated in the exFAT file system pretty recently. I want to say like a year or two ago, like maybe a couple of years ago. And if you have a phone operating system from the last couple of years, you can just plug in a USB stick that's formatted exFAT, and you don't have the limitations of the FAT32 file system. For example, the 4 gigabyte file limit. So if I dump videos onto my USB stick in order to play them back, well, a lot of my video files are too big to copy onto a FAT32 file system, so I can't just copy them on there and plug them into my phone. So I just haven't felt like going through the whole reinstall the phone operating system type thing. But if I do that, then what I can do, I can, if I go through the tribulation of reinstalling my phone operating system, then my phone will be able to read exFAT, and I'll then be able to reformat my USB stick as exFAT, and then I can just copy any kind of file I want to the USB stick, copy it to my phone, or vice versa. And I mean, yeah, you just go to the file manager on your phone, copy and paste stuff to the USB stick. It just makes it really convenient to synchronize files in between devices or whatnot. The USB sticks have really come a long way, so that's definitely something I'm planning on. That's kind of off topic though. Got to get back to the car. I haven't tested if the car can read exFAT or not, but it definitely reads FAT32 just fine. I also noticed that it will leave, like anytime you open the door or whatnot, USB-C ports have power for a while. I'm not sure how long exactly before it cuts power, but that means anything I have rigged up, the car's still powering after I cut it off for probably a few minutes or something, which is kind of interesting, but I wouldn't plug in any high drain devices, that's for sure. So other things about the car, heads-up display's gotten pretty nice on these. Not only does it show your speed, your distance to the car in front of you, which you can set. It has it'll change the color based on how close you are to it as well. If it thinks you're in too close to it, it'll turn yellow or whatnot. Your cruise control, it also shows your speed limit. And then if anybody's in your blind spot, it shows like a little waveform and the appropriate corner location as to where people are, if they're like getting up in your business or whatnot. So that's interesting. You can change like the view, camera view and whatnot. That's kind of cool. It works really well. All-wheel drive system works well. It's kind of hard to lose traction. I mean, maybe if it's wet. In the dry, you're going to be really hard pressed to lose traction. I don't even know if the computer will let you, unless you hit some gravel or something. But yeah, this is the turbocharged Sky Active motor, and I must say the boost feels really good. It's pretty immediate turbo spool, and basically what happens, your boost is immediate and you get up to speed pretty quickly. It's pretty nice on the highway. Now it doesn't feel as good on the highway as like a bigger turbo, but for the size turbo that it is, it's effective pretty much across the rev range. It's pretty much always like right there as a supplement, and you definitely feel it. So it's nice. Like, boost is really nice, and obviously you can eat through the gas, but as long as you aren't flooring it everywhere, it gets pretty good gas mileage. It's pretty impressive, I must say, and that's on regular gas, and that's probably one of the most impressive things for me. I haven't tried it in the snow or whatnot. As you can see, the temperature's dropping now that we've gotten into North Carolina. Down to 41. It was 44 when I left. It was 34 when I hit Florida. Now coming up here to North Carolina, it's 41 again. And they've sodded the roads. I saw them actively sodding I-95. I had a really good interaction with the radar detector. I wish I'd have gotten on video, but I saw a officer coming off the off-ramp about a mile behind me on the right side, and I got a hit from the radar detector from the behind. It said behind me. I looked. I'm like, yeah, that's a cop. And it probably took him like a couple of minutes to like catch up and pass. And you know, it's a pretty interesting interaction. See, right there, I needed to pass because this douchebag can't figure out how to get into traffic. And this thing will downshift, this thing will get into boost. It doesn't have the sound that the CX-9 has in terms of boost.
In 2 miles, use the right 2 lanes to take the US 17 North, US 74 East exit toward Wrightsville Beach, Jacksonville.
I would say the CX-9 sounds a lot better. That being said, it's kind of like a whine. It's more like a truck, like a vacuum cleaner type sound, but more like a supercharger, to be honest, but not quite as whiny. But yeah, it's boosted. You definitely hear that it's boosted. And, yeah, we like boost sounds. It doesn't matter what, like every car is different. It doesn't matter what sound it is. We absolutely like boost sounds. But anyway, moving on. Oh man, winter storm expected.
In half a mile,
That's
use
funny.
the right 2 lanes to take the
It's
US
pretty
7.
good. Like, it's pretty planted, like in corners or whatnot. It's definitely not a Miata, but compared to other vehicles that I've driven, especially with front-wheel drive engine layout, like it's definitely a Mazda, and it definitely feels good. You definitely, you know, run people down in the spirited driving techniques. Without really trying, without really pushing. Like, if you wanted to push, like, this thing has a pretty amazing all-wheel drive system. Be interesting to see what it could do. I think some people have put coilovers on these and taken them up to the Dragon and whatnot. I don't really have any experience with it, but experiencing these electronics and what it can do, especially like accelerating uphill and whatnot, it's actually pretty impressive. It actually works pretty amazingly. And here we hit the traffic.
In half a mile, turn right onto US
This thing does
74
amazingly
East.
in traffic as well. A lot of low-end torque. It's not like hard to accelerate or anything. The brakes work like you'd expect them to. You know, like all things, you got to get a feel for it, and you know, sometimes you have to hit them, you know, a little bit more or whatnot. Not a Miata, not like super lightweight, but brakes work. Like, they actually do feel good. I'm not going to stop here. I thought about it, but I'm not going to. So yeah, braking, acceleration.
Turn right onto US 74 East.
What else do we want to cover? I thought about going to that gas station, but it's just not worth it. Look at all
In a
that
quarter
traffic.
mile, slight right onto the US 74 East, North
as you
Carolina
can see,
133
we got
North
some
ramp to Airport Wrightsville
Really
Beach.
nice acceleration here. It just digs in. And I'm not even giving it full throttle. So yeah, so we have covered the acceleration, the braking, the handling. One other weird thing is the auto bright lights.
Slight right onto the
I
US
haven't
74 East
used
ramp.
them much, but there's some cases where I wouldn't
Continue
want the
on
brakes
US 74 East for 6
and
miles.
where it's also been kind of slow in turning the bright lights off, and I would really rather I would much rather have the bright lights not blind somebody in a neighborhood, or cut off soon enough not to spotlight somebody before software turns them off. But yeah, I'm just chatting here, not really trying to pass anybody. Alright, so covering other topics. You can fit like a car full of people. You have all the standard amenities. These things are easy to work on. Good fuel mileage. Stuff really doesn't break on these Mazdas. Honestly, this car has really raised my opinion of the CX-30. And, I like the CX-50 and I like the CX-5. They're really good all-around vehicles. But CX-30's kind of well done. Like, this thing doesn't even feel top-heavy. I thought it might feel top-heavy, might really feel the body roll on the highway, and I think it's safe to say that I do not, and it actually feels pretty good. So, really impressed with the CX-30. One other thing I noted after driving it a while, so I'm used to death gripping the steering wheel. I'm used to having a really light or very sensitive power steering system. And, on some cars you can dial it back or dial up the sensitivity or whatnot. And these, like, if I take my hand off of the wheel, like it absolutely goes straight. Like, no ifs, ands, or buts. And, it takes some force to move the wheel. It's not like, turning the wheel like a finger, like on the Miata. So, much heavier steering than a Miata, but since it, really wants to go straight, I really don't have to death grip the wheel. Like, I have a habit of death gripping the wheel just to maintain precise control. And with this car, like, you really don't have to. Everything it does is pretty intuitive, pretty expected. But, the wheels don't turn instantly like, a lighter car, or like the Miata's power steering system, for example. So that's one thing I've noticed in terms of steering inputs. So just confirming, this is the 2025 CX-30. So I gotta say, good job, Mazda, for this 2025 CX-30. So yeah, you got all the standard features here. Side mirrors have the blind spot monitoring. They got signals built into them. They heat up. You hit the front defrost, the mirrors heat up. There's a grid on the windshield here that'll heat up the front wipers. The rear defrost grid heats up pretty quickly. You have all your sensor controls over here on the left side of the car, seat controls, and you can turn off the parking stuff, the sounds for the blind spot monitoring, toggle the camera over here. So everything's pretty simplified, but it has pretty much, everything I could imagine somebody would want. And yeah, the driving experience is pretty nice. Like, this thing's pretty good on the bumps and whatnot. It's a really good feeling stock suspension, not squishy at all. It's not top heavy. You don't feel the body roll like I thought you would, and that's a pretty big thing for me. If you can accomplish having ground clearance and not feel body roll, that's actually really nice. Because from my experience,
at the next light, use the left lane to turn left.
From my experience, if you have a lot of ground clearance, you feel that at higher speeds, or like on the highway when you're like going over hills and turns and whatnot. Like you just feel the body roll, and it just feels super squishy. And this car does not feel like that. And I'm pretty sure older versions of this car did. I can't remember what specifically, but this actually feels like a very compliant suspension. It's actually pretty impressive. And we got the C8 Corvette over here. Everyone check out the C8 Corvette. What are we gonna get? Suicide lanes, C8 Corvette.
In a quarter mile, after go store at self-storage, turn left into the parking lot.
Mazda does have all-wheel drive. Probably beat that thing in the rain. And I am handing it back.